Hey friends, this is a news update from SGTreport.com. Far-left, liberal, socialist gun grabber and open borders-loving Michael Moore bombed at the box office this weekend with his anti-Trump Fahrenheit 11/9 movie, if you can call it that, limping in at 8th place at theaters with a paltry $3.1 million in box office receipts, 1,719 theaters, and mostly empty seats. A bomb by any measure when compared to his Fahrenheit 9/11 in 2004, which raked in $23.9 million in its opening weekend, when movie tickets were far cheaper and from just 868 locations. With absolute disdain for their communist rantings and policies, the left is in meltdown mode as the majority of the country embraces the outlandish idealism of Trump's Make America Great Again policies. And any hoped-for blue wave in November will likely be nothing more than a ripple if fair and honest elections are enforced. As Q has posted, there is panic in D.C. as the deep state attempted coup of the sitting president becomes more obvious and provable by the day. The left and the deep state criminals are in an absolute panic as their last remaining firewalls collapse. Representative Adam Schiff, a man so compromised as to be named by Q specifically and repeatedly as, quote, a traitor to our country and a leaker of national security secrets, is particularly in a panic. Many researchers also suspect that Schiff, like the Podestas and Hillary Clinton, and so many other swamp creatures, have been involved in the cover-up of pedo-related human trafficking. The highly suspect Standard Hotel, the site of far too many suicides, is in Schiff's district. In February of this year, President Trump tweeted about Schiff's treacherous ways, along with Comey's, Warner's, Brennan's, and Clapper's. When Trump tweeted, "Little Adam Schiff, who is desperate to run for higher office, is one of the biggest liars and leakers in Washington," right up there with Comey, Warner, Brennan, and Clapper. Adam leaves closed committee hearings to illegally leak confidential information. Must be stopped. And now the dam is breaking as the rats scurry to cover their FISA tracks. Criminal collusion at the highest levels, as Joe DeGeneva explains.
Mr. Schiff is a co-conspirator in an effort not only to undermine this president, but to destroy this president and violate the Constitution by subverting the election. He knows that what was done prior to the election and after was a criminal conspiracy with Brennan, Clapper, Comey, Strzok, Page, Baker, Prystepp, McCabe, everybody involved in it. And what they are doing now is they don't want any of this information to come out, because if it does, and as it comes out gradually, it will show categorically that they engaged in a criminal conspiracy to frame a sitting president of the United States.
Recall that on Monday, February 5th, Q posted at 7:56 p.m. Eastern that a recorded phone call exists between Adam Schiff and Valerie Jarrett. That call lasted 42 minutes and 13 seconds. The call, if in existence, constitutes evidence of treason under Article 3, Section 3 of the Constitution. And the situation has gotten only progressively worse for the anti-Trump colluders since February. A week ago, the president, who vowed to return the power to the people when he was inaugurated, directed the Justice Department to declassify and release the text messages of former FBI Director James Comey and others about their investigation into Russia's alleged interference in the 2016 presidential election. According to UPI, the directive also issued to the Office of the Director of National Intelligence includes texts by former FBI officials Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, and Lisa Page, and Justice Department official Bruce Orr, all of which explains the accelerating panic in D.C. and Adam Schiff's deep-seated fear, which caused him to tweet a thinly veiled threat to President Trump on September 17th. And I'll quote it, "President Trump has intervened again in a pending investigation by ordering the selective disclosure of classified materials he believes to be helpful to his defense. The DOJ and FBI have previously informed me that release of some of this information would cross a red line." It's interesting to note that Adam Schiff is eager to leak information as he sees fit, but condemns the president for transparency in this case. And it should be noted that this red line, according to researcher and QAnon decoder Neon Revolt, constitutes nothing less than the threat of assassination. Over the past 48 hours, the Mockingbird mainstream media, including CNN, Washington Post, and New York Times, has gleefully been reporting that President Trump has walked back his plan to declassify Russian probe documents. But that's not the whole truth. In a pair of Friday morning tweets, President Trump said, quote, "I met with the DOJ concerning the declassification of various unredacted documents. They agreed to release them, but stated that doing so may have a perceived negative impact on the Russia probe. Also, key allies called to ask not to release. Folks, it's now clear that's the UK. More on that in a second. Therefore, the Inspector General has been asked to review these documents on an expedited basis. I believe he will move quickly on this, and hopefully other things which he is looking at. In the end, I can always declassify it if it proves necessary. Speed is very important to me and everyone." End quote. So despite the Mockingbird mainstream media cheerleading that the documents remain classified, the deep state panic in D.C. is spreading like a California-directed energy weapons-induced wildfire, and is now also revealing panic in the UK. According to sources on Sunday, the UK government begged Trump not to declassify the Russiagate FISA documents, citing grave concerns over former British agent Christopher Steele's involvement. Zero Hedge notes that Steele's name was already contained within the Nunes memo, the House Intelligence Committee's majority opinion in the Trump-Russia case. And Steele also had extensive contacts with DOJ official Bruce Orr and his wife Nellie, who, along with Steele, was paid by opposition research firm Fusion GPS in the anti-Trump campaign. Trump called for the declassification of FBI notes of interviews with Orr, which would ostensibly reveal more about his relationship with former MI6 agent Christopher Steele. Orr was demoted twice within the DOJ for lying about his contacts with Fusion GPS. Again, the deep state is being laid bare for all to see, not that CNN will report the truth to its viewers. And perhaps, Zero Hedge notes, the Brits are also concerned since much of the espionage performed on the Trump campaign was conducted on UK soil throughout 2016. Recall that Trump aide George Papadopoulos was lured to London in March of 2016, where a Maltese professor fed him the rumor that Russia had dirt on Hillary Clinton. It was later at a London bar that Papadopoulos would drunkenly pass that rumor to Australian diplomat Alexander Downer, who stroke flew to London to meet with. Friends, it's clear that not only is there panic in D.C., there's panic in the UK as the deep state traitors begin to fear that their crimes may soon be met with justice in the form of military tribunals.
There's a Supreme Court decision that said that American citizens who collaborated with Nazi saboteurs were tried by the military. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I think a couple of them were executed.
Yeah.
So if anybody doubts, there's a long-standing history in this country that your constitutional rights follow you wherever you go, but you don't have a constitutional right to turn on your own government and collaborate with the enemy of the nation.
And now the British government itself has stepped in to aid in the cover-up of good old-fashioned treason at the highest levels of the CIA, FBI, Department of Justice, and among certain U.S. House of Representatives. These are indeed trying times for our president, who stands largely alone against these winds of tyranny, although he still enjoys the support of tens of millions of Americans who understand what is actually going on here, and who remember exactly why our founding fathers dared to rebel against King George and the British Crown. It's time for President Trump and the American people to stand against that same crown today and expose the criminal international deep state for all to see. Friends, I want to thank you so much for your support. A special shout out to our patrons. You're making a world of difference for me and my little team. And for real news 24/7, do visit us at SGTreport.com and thelibertymill.com. God bless.
The running theme throughout my book, Hidden History, was that while the names change, the agencies certainly don't. In fact, new ones are often created and add to the mess, but it's the same kind of organized corruption. Regardless of Trump's sincerity, if Trump is really sincere and he really can do anything like this, just him being in office and the hatred focused on him nonstop by the establishment has served to out them.